Ladies and gentlemen, these pictures on your TV screens speak volumes of PDP chief Mehbooba Mufti's hypocrisy. Mehbooba Mufti, who has refrained from calling out Pak terror that has spilled the blood of Hindus on the streets, has often pinned the blame for targeted killings in Kashmir on the Modi government. She even went to the extent of saying that the BJP was using minorities to show normalcy in the valley, but it was all a mirage. Remember how she once called terrorists as sons of the soil and even called for the government to make efforts to save them. She even cried foul when the house of Jaish terrorist Ashik Negru was demolished by authorities in Pulwama, saying bahut ho gaya. The same Mehbooba Mufti, who hasn't named and shamed killers of Hindu, was just yesterday seen performing Jalabhishek at the Shivling in the Navagrah temple in Poonch district of Kashmir. When asked, Mufti said she offered prayers at the temple at the insistence of former PDP leader Yashpal Sharma's son, and that she was handed the vessel filled with water with a lot of love and astha. Listen in.
वहाँ हमारे जो यशपाल शर्मा ने वो मंदिर बनाया है और उनके बेटे चाहते थे मैं अंदर जाके देखूं, तो मैंने मंदिर देखा जो उन्होंने बनाया, बड़ी मेहनत से बनाया, बड़ा पुंछ बाबू ने बहुत दिल खोल के पैसा दिया है। और उसके बाद वहाँ किसी ने मेरे हाथ में बड़ी श्रद्धा से पानी का लोटा रख दिया कि आप इस पे डालिए। तो जब कोई इतनी श्रद्धा से, इतनी प्यार से आपसे कोई बात करे तो आप तो उसको दिल तो नहीं तोड़ेंगे, नहीं मैं नहीं डालूंगी। तो उन्होंने कहा तो मैंने डाल दिया।
The BJP was quick to call out Mufti's hypocrisy and said that her Mandir visit was only a political gimmick. The BJP says it was Mufti and a party who opposed the allotment of land to the Amarnath Shrine Board for construction of hutments for Hindu pilgrims in the year 2008, and today she was only doing drama by performing Jalabhishek of the Shivling in the Poonch temple to get Hindu votes in the upcoming elections.
Let's remind that in 2008, just devising an issue out of thin air regarding the allotment of land to Shri Amarnath Shrine Board, Mehbooba Mufti, she had set firstly the Kashmir region and then entire Jammu on fire. A spate of violence, hatred, gulf between Jammu and Kashmir.
जब गुलमर्ग का एक घोड़े चलाने वाला व्यक्ति हमसे बोले कि वो अभी तो 370 हटा दिया और इधर हमने तिरंगा लगा लिया, वो जरा 4G चालू करा दो, इधर भी तिरंगा लग जाएगा, तो इसका मतलब समझता है ये देश। बेसिकली जम्मू कश्मीर ना बहुत अलग पॉजिटिविटी से बढ़ गया है। महबूबा मुफ्ती जी हो या फिर और जो लोग हैं, ये इस तरह की भाषा इसलिए बोल रहे हैं कि ये टिमटिमाते दिए हैं। अब
You're watching the News Hour at 9, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
All right, in fact, we have Sanju Verma with us. Lalit Ambradar also continues to be with us. In fact, we're just going to be connected by spokespersons of the PDP as well as political analysts in just a few moments. We have with us, I believe, Mohit Bann, who's joining us, spokesperson of the PDP. Yes, Mohit, let me begin with you. The BJP says that this yesterday was nothing but a political gimmick, but it's a recognition of the changing ground situation in Jammu and Kashmir. Your response to the BJP, Mohit Bann.
I want to tell BJP that this is still the country which is governed by the constitution, and it is still a secular country which belongs to the Gandhis and the idea which Nehru propagated, and not a Rashtra which RSS is trying to propagate. So let me tell you point blank, this is a country where the Muslims, the artisans, sculpt the sculptures of Hindu goddesses, and the Hindu men and women go to different shrines and offer chadars. Yesterday, if Mehbooba Mufti was at a Navagre temple in Poonch, today Sanjay Dutt was at Ashmukam shrine in Pahalgam. So BJP is only trying to portray a card where they can communally divide the society on the Hindu and Muslim. They are not trying to project a card where they say that, okay, this is a country where Hindu and Muslim offer their, respect to each other's religion. because that doesn't suit their politics. That doesn't suit
Mohit Bann, there's a problem with that. There's a
vote
problem with that. The problem that the BJP says is this, that when Mehbooba Mufti has been seen speaking out and espousing the cause of Islamists, particularly terrorist groups and terrorist individuals, time and again, there are a large number of instances when she has spoken out in their favor. You know, that is at complete odds with the position that she is taking today.
See, again, BJP is not India, and BJP is not the constitution of India. What BJP says is not a judgment on somebody's ideology or character. Mehbooba Mufti has.
So you don't see a hypocrisy there?
Yes, repeatedly.
No, forget the BJP. I am asking you, sir, is there no hypocrisy there? On one hand, talking with and standing with people who are complete exclusionists.
Multiple times. Okay, she has visited Kheer Bhavani multiple times. You know,
no, but there is a very serious problem here, sir. There is a very serious problem. You know as well as I do that there was spate of attacks on Hindus. One second, sir. My simple question to you is this. There were a spate of attacks on Hindus, on migrant labor, etc. on ground. What was the effort that Mehbooba Mufti made at that point of time to, burnish her secular credentials and appeal for the safety and specifically say that these are people who should be protected? Where were those statements at that point of time?
Thank you, Madhav. Exactly. Thank you very much for asking that question. I'm indebted to you for asking that question. So go back to whenever a minority was killed in Kashmir, whenever a minority was killed in Rajouri, Poonch, anywhere in Jammu, it was Mehbooba Mufti who made the first move to visit the families, the victim families, be it Pulwama, be it Shupain, be it Rajouri.
Okay. This is a consistent position.
Let me remind you.
Sanju Verma, this is a consistent position Mehbooba Mufti has taken. She has shown a concern for Hindu victims as well in the past. So it's wrong to say that she has been batting for Islamists.
3 times.
Okay, you made your point. Now listen to the other point of view. Yeah, Sanju Verma.
So you're absolutely off the track. You're absolutely off the record.
Okay.
You have no record.
Bacche hain, terrorist bacche hain, stone pelters are children, they are misguided youth. All of these, of course, also perhaps are figments of my imagination. But I will allow Sanju Verma to come in now. You made your point, Mohit Bann. Sanju Verma.
He was the first person to reject this.
Mohit Bann, there are others in the debate. Please calm down. Sanju Verma.
Thank you. Thank you, Madhav. Madhav, I think, your question itself has the answers because I think the questions that you asked of the PDP spokesperson have not elicited any firm response. Rather than indulging in whataboutery, he's not made any coherent points. I will just say this. You remember very recently, barely 2 years back, when the Taliban took over Afghanistan, Mehbooba Mufti was the first one to equate Talibanis with Indian freedom fighters, saying that what has happened in Afghanistan, if the BJP does not revoke Article 370, a similar situation could happen. And the words she used, I quote ad verbatim, Kashmir is our land and our people will take over our land, just like the Talibanis have taken over their land in Afghanistan. This is the kind of irresponsible and audacious statement bordering on sedition and treason made by the PDP chief Mehbooba Mufti. Point number 1. Point number 2. I remember before the revocation and abrogation of Article 370, when stone pelting incidents were at their peak, Mehbooba Mufti said, "Patthar marte hain to kya bura karte hain? Ye chote bacche hain. We need to rehabilitate them." I want to ask the PDP spokesperson just this question. When Akash Mehra of Krishna Dhaba, he was assassinated in 2021. When ML Bindru was brutally killed. When Deepak Paswan, that poor street hawker from Bihar, and Arvind Saha, another street hawker from Bihar, they were butchered in broad daylight. When Supinder Kaur was asked if she's a Hindu and then she was shot down by militants. Did you even once see Mehbooba Mufti condemn ISIS, the deep state or Pakistan? On the one hand, she would apologize for the bloodshed, and right in the second breath, she would say, but ye Pakistan ki to galti nahi hai, law and order problem hai. She has been a better apologist.
Mohit Bann, specific instances. You refer to specific instances. Here are specific instances from the side of the BJP as well. Please respond. Unmute yourself, please.
Let me refresh the learned spokesperson of BJP, Sanju Verma. When Akash was murdered or Bidru Saab was murdered, it was Mehbooba Mufti who was the first person to reach their families or the crematorium site to condole. Tell me one BJP leader who has visited Bindru's house on the first 3 or 4 days. Not even one BJP leader went there. Okay, you are talking about Taliban in Afghanistan. What about the
But
BJP,
Mr. Bann, isn't it your party and your party's politicians who refuse to accept that these are people being killed because of their religion?
Yes, sir.
Has the word genocide even been used once? What do you call?
Why are you behaving like a spokesperson of BJP?
Why are you getting upset, sir? I'm asking you questions. Calm down. This is a debate.
It was the BJP.
This is a debate. No, when you're cornered, you lose your cool and engage in name calling, Mr. Mohit Bann. Calm down. There are specific questions I'm asking you. There are specific questions. Why does your party refuse to acknowledge that people are being killed in the name of their religion?
And a delegation who went, if Taliban is such a threat, if Taliban is such a...
So if you visit the victims, that does not abdicate you of your responsibility. Why have you not condemned Pakistan? That's my question. Why have you not condemned
I want Lalit to come in now. Lalit, there seems to be, if you believe Mohit Bann, you would actually believe that PDP is the most secular and the most loving party, the most liberal party in the country today. Has that been the experience? Has that been the experience, Mr. Lalit Ambradar? Has that been your experience?
Madhav, I always say Abdullahs are the original Islamists of Kashmir and Muftis are only competing with Abdullahs. Just imagine Muftis and Abdullahs right under their watch. Right under their watch, Kashmiri Hindus suffered genocide and the genocide continues till date. And they trying to speak about the secularism, Ganga Jamni Tehzeeb, la. It's laughable. Of course, it's deception. There's a term in Islamic polity. It's called taqiya. It's to befool the gullible Hindu voters in Jammu province. She has visited the temple. Otherwise, like it was just pointed out, she welcomed Taliban. Number 2, she even to the extent when Kashmiri Hindus, when the Hindus are being killed in Kashmir, not once she has spoken against the jihadis who are out there to kill Kashmiri Hindus, or against Pakistan who are sending those jihadis to Kashmir to kill Hindus in Kashmir. Number 3, when Amarnath agitation took place, you know what was that in 2008? The Hindus were wanting, the government was creating a facility, toilet facilities for Hindu pilgrims at those hardest Himalayan heights for room, for the toilet facilities. And these people, Abdullahs and Muftis, were dead against that. You know what they said? Ye hamari zameen hai. ये हमारी जमीन है हम इसका तुमको कुछ नहीं कर सकते and they stalled that project. This is what is called deception. Kashmir is cleansed of Hindus. Now they are trying to deceive rest of the Hindus, the rest of India, and while Kashmiri Hindus continue to be on the target of the hit list. And also don't forget, I also request the panelists here, the people who kill Hindus in Kashmir are not militants. They are jihadi terrorists. I also request the BJP representative, don't use the word militant. Don't use a militant. Don't forget, not one such jihadi who was responsible for Kashmiri Hindu genocide has ever been punished in Kashmir. They are roaming free, and Mehbooba Mufti calls them our children, our boys.
Okay. Let me bring in Majid Hydari on that note. Majid Hydari was 2008 also example of Ganga Jamuni Tehzeeb, as Lalit Ambradar has pointed out.
Well, madam, I am reminded of that iconic bhajan. इंसाफ का मंदिर है ये भगवान का घर है कहना है जो कह दे तुझे किस बात का डर है. Mehbooba Mufti Sahiba is not the leader of Muslims alone, she is the leader of secular India. On Jan 24, 2023, Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji sent a chadar to Ajmer Sharif. And nobody criticized because it's the issue of Shraddha. But when it comes to Muslims, it becomes an issue of criticism. I mean, aapki Shraddha and hamari Shraddha optics. What kind of yardsticks do you utilize while comparing these things?
There's a problem.
She has every right. She has
small problem, sir. Small problem is that the pandering to the sentiment of Islamist elements. That is the problem. That is the only reason we are saying this is hypocrisy, or the BJP is saying this is hypocrisy rather. Isn't there a problem there?
We are seeing one worthy chief minister in Hindi heartland using the bulldozer on one particular community. Then what is that? At least she is not utilizing bulldozer or anybody and let them.
I think, okay.
Mufti's government spent crores
You're specifically referring to a chief minister. I want Sanju Verma to respond to that point. Yes, Sanju Verma.
You know, let me be very honest. Majid Hydari, I always believe that facts don't lie. And I will just say this to you. You brought in the bulldozer Baba Yogi Adityanath without saying as much. But let me tell you that be it the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, please, I did not heckle you. Be it the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana.
Okay.
I urge you to go and check these websites. More than 33% of the money is disbursed to the minorities, including Muslims. More
Okay.
than 33% of welfare schemes.
Okay, one at a time. We're almost out of time. Lalit, I want a quick word from Lalit before I get a response. Yes, Lalit.
Madhav, recently, these guys are talking about Gandhigiri, land of India, land of Gandhi.
Yes.
This very Mehbooba Mufti was exposed and she opposed the Mahatma Gandhi's favorite bhajan, Ishwar Allah Tero Naam, in very Kashmir, where you
There you go.
speak Ishwar Allah in the same tune.
Okay.
She claims herself to be a socialist, a secularist, not at all.
Mr. Mohit Bann,
Don't forget,
Mr. Mohit Bann,
Mehbooba Mufti's
I don't know if you're trying to
agenda
sing
is
Breathless,
self-rule.
the famous song by Shankar Mahadevan, or what you're trying to do, but just calm down. You're getting too worked up. Sir. Listen to the questions that are being posed. Let's have a reasonable debate. He's asking a fair question about your party leader's position. All right. I don't think you're in any mood to take the question. So, Majid Hydari would like to respond to Mr. Lalit Ambradar. He says that if Mehbooba Mufti opposes even the famous bhajan, by Mahatma Gandhi, then how can she call herself secular?
Firstly, Mehbooba Mufti government spent crores of rupees to host the Amarnath Yatra. And second, Mehbooba Mufti doesn't need a certificate from any Tom, Dick and Harry because she
Answer the question, sir.
Honorable Chief Minister in alliance
Answer
with
the
BJP.
question.
But because BJP...
So then, does she have the moral authority to say that this is not Gandhi's India then? If you do not believe in Ishwar Allah Tero Naam, then I mean, what are we even debating here?
Impose your ideology on her.
What is the ideology? You don't believe in Mahatma Gandhi?
Bhagwa ideology.
You were just not talking about a secular India where religions coexist and you do not believe in Mahatma Gandhi's Ishwar Allah Tero Naam.
Yes, we believe in Ishwar Allah.
So then why are you not calling out Mehbooba Mufti for the position she has taken?
The problem was with the second one.
Don't say that.
All right, completely out of time. I wish we had more time on this debate. It's an extremely engaging one, but I think it's a debate that brings out certain hypocrisies and certain contradictions in the positions that have been taken by political parties. That's the only reason we've had this debate. I'd like to thank Sanju Verma, Lalit Ambradar, Majid Hydari as well as Mohit Bann for joining us this evening. And with that, it's a wrap on the news hour.